Alright, what is going on YouTube? And today I am back with a video that kind of mirrors an Instagram post I made on my Instagram page a while back. So if you want the very quick, brief, palatable, catchy to the eyes form of this, just go check out my page on Instagram. It's the pinned post and it is also at Temple Forming, same as YouTube. But anyway, this video doesn't really pertain so much to the usual audience on YouTube of like fitness influencer slash bodybuilder slash like aesthetics chaser. It is more so, by extension, it is not even for people who are about fitness and maintaining their health, and it's not even about casual gym goers. That's because this video is for people who don't want to even go to a gym or can't go to a gym. And it's for people who don't really want to invest a lot in fitness, but are discontent with the way they look. More so the fellas. We will make the female equivalent to this video in the distant future on the channel. Now this can help body composition in a very, very bare bones format for women, but it's mostly for the male physique. And we'll get to that in a second and why that is. But this advice, you don't even need a home gym for. It's not just that you don't have to buy a gym membership. You don't even need gym equipment. And if you live in a rougher area, which some people do, and God bless you if you do, the best to you. But some people, it isn't even safe for them to go outside. Don't worry, you can still do this. You can still do this like during gaming sessions. It's very easy, very minimalist, and very bare bones. Everybody talks about like getting their beach body and their summer body, but a lot of times, a lot of practical scenarios in day-to-day life, you aren't going to be at a beach, especially if you don't live in a coastal state, and you aren't going to be with your shirt off because it is not exactly a setting that is appropriate for. So you need to look good in clothes. A lot of people don't even feel confident with how they look in clothes. So this is for you guys. Pretty easily attainable. A lot of people will say things are easily attainable and then you have to buy this or that. You don't have to do that. In fact, I would say you actually want to buy less of certain things, and we'll get to that at the very end. And this really isn't clickbait. I'm not trying to sell you a membership or anything stupid like that or a course. I'm giving you the bare bones, the easiest way to look pretty presentable, if not smoking hot. But first I want to clarify that I am, above all, a big believer in taking care of your overall health. That is nutrition, and that is fitness, and that is the brain stuff. Making sure your brain is churning properly, and that your brain is, mentally healthy and all that jazz, and above all, spiritually healthy. But one of those categories is physical health, it's fitness, it's exercise, and then that breaks down into many categories of strength, musculature, supporting your bone health, agility, balance, flexibility, your cardiovascular endurance, explosiveness, all of those things. And unfortunately, that's such a diverse category of elements to exercise that it's hard to give a one-size-fits-all program for stuff like that, and that is why you have to be a little more present, a little more intuitive, and in touch with your body and what you need to better yourself physically. So above all, I endorse that pursuit. I wouldn't recommend that people do a minimalist approach. I highly recommend being all in, heaving tremendous loads, running, building that heart, becoming more flexible, overcoming postural imbalances. But I understand that most people don't want to do that. Maybe they don't have time, maybe they aren't comfortable with that, maybe they haven't seen how enjoyable fitness and taking care of your body can be. So maybe this is a gateway into that, and if that's the case, then I went above and beyond what I intended to do with this video. But I just want to say that take care of your overall health, but for those who don't care, don't have time, don't have the resources, then you can at least do this. All it takes is just, the will to take 10 to 30 minutes of your day, just about. And it doesn't even have to be every day. So anyways, what makes an aesthetic physique for males? Well, in clothes, in a shirt, it is a shoulder to waist ratio, not hip ratio, but waist, like right about here. Your hips are lower, and those are the shoulders of your lower body, but having wider shoulders than your waist. And how do you do that? By getting bigger shoulders, a bigger upper back, sometimes a bigger chest, and on top of that, it helps to have built biceps and a low body fat percentage so that your abs can be seen, or you at least have a flat stomach. You see this all the time in Hollywood with movie stars. They give the illusion of fitness and musculature by having big shoulders, some bicep muscles, a wide upper back, which is, it's not the hardest to attain. And I'll get to that in a second too. And then a low body fat percentage so that you can show the abs. I just want to say, and this is important, that if abs are not practical for you to have, if being at a body fat percentage that is low enough to reveal your abs does more damage than good, you can have a flat stomach and look good in clothes without having peeled abs. Trust me. So, you are going to want to build your shoulders. How do you do that? Well, you can do lateral raises. So plenty of people have dumbbells that you can perform lateral raises. These are the biggest bang for your buck for building the roundness of the shoulder, the width. And if you don't have a dumbbell, that's okay. You don't need to go out and buy dumbbells. You can actually just fill up a bag as displayed here, or a jug. Fill the jug with fluid, or when you're too strong for the fluid, with rocks, pebbles, or sand. Even if the fluid in the jug is too light to be stimulating, just do more reps or more sets. But to save time, you can go up in weight by adding the sand or pebbles, or just by doing a backpack, filling a backpack up with books or something, or with rocks, and just do lateral raises. And then when you're burnt out from the lateral raises, just switch instantly into shoulder press, continuing to work and burn out the shoulders, and you're getting a little bit of tricep activation in there too. Just do that for like anywhere from 2 to 5 sets. And when this is another huge thing is when you're not training such a diverse group of muscles, the muscles you are training can recover quickly. Just make sure that you aren't overusing the joints. The muscles will recover way faster than the joints when you're doing specificity training like this. Then, using that same bag or jug or dumbbell, just perform some curls. Roughly the same amount of sets. You can use the same bag, same jug, or same dumbbell for these bicep curls. And a good rule of thumb is that a lot of people's lateral raise weight is going to be the same as their bicep curl weight. So, you got your biceps, you got your shoulders, and those are two big components. That's basically like the arm component of looking muscular. Lastly, we have what's probably the hardest component, is building that upper back. So, pull-ups are the best way to do this at low investment, because you got public parks, you got gyms, but obviously this is for people who don't want to go to a gym or don't want to go to a public park. And if you don't have a pull-up bar or one of those door frame pull-up bars, you can still build your upper back by hanging off of a table. I'm going to display it right here on this bench. Just imagine that this is a table right here and not a bar. Just put that backpack you were using on your back. Make sure that if you're doing a table, you have enough weight on the other side of the table on top of it to counterbalance you. And you can just hang and really try to focus that upper back. Feel the squeeze. This is going to be a much easier exercise to perform at lower repetitions because you have your feet to leverage a lot of that weight of your body. So you'll need to do higher reps of this and really squeeze Slow on the way down, up, explosively, lower yourself down and up. It might even be more effective to put the backpack on your front instead of your back so that you don't have that inhibiting your range of motion. So you don't have something blocking the depth you can go. You can wear it on your chest so that it's on top of you and letting you go down all the way without the backpack touching the ground first while your arms are still bent, if that makes sense. So sets, reps, splits, days of the week, that's completely up to you as long as you're doing them frequently. Frequent enough training that will stimulate the muscle and cause it to hypertrophy. Now, since you are doing such a limited range of muscular training, those muscles will recover a lot quicker. The joints and tendons won't, so be careful, but you can probably get away with training like 3 sets of lateral raises, 3 sets of bicep curls, and 3 of whatever kind of pull-up you're doing at 8 to 15 reps, any amount of reps you want, any amount of reps that is challenging for you. Every single day, as long as it's not damaging your tendons too much and your tendons are recovering. But you can do it every other day. You can do like 3 days or even 2 days with much higher sets and much higher reps, bigger intensity, or you can just do here and there every day. Or you can do like a set when you're done, a set when you're getting ready, a set when you're done getting ready, a set before a meal, a set after a meal. Like, it's so easy to just have a bag with you filled with weight or a jug filled with weight that you can just do those lateral raises, do those curls with. I get that the pull-up is a little bit harder to get in than the other ones, like any time of day, but a lot of offices do have little gyms where you can sneak in and do some pull-ups and stuff. So that part is completely up to you. Just make sure that you are doing these exercises as frequently as possible that you can recover from. But you can definitely work this out to where you only have to commit 10 or 20 minutes to these exercises a day. 3 sets of 10 lateral raises, 3 sets of 10 bicep curls, and like 3 sets of however many you need to do the pull-ups for. You can get that done in 10 to 15 minutes. So it is very low investment and very flexible with almost any schedule out there. Lastly, we want to focus on the abs. How to get a flatter stomach. And this is the part that's going to be tricky for the most people because it takes a little bit of self-control. Actually, it takes a lot of self-control, but it also takes some information. We are experiencing a war of information right now. So, you guys are all familiar with the notion that the type of food, whether it's processed or whole or organic or all these things, animal-based, plant-based, seed oils, no seed oils, you have all understood the notion that that stuff doesn't matter and that it's just calories in versus calories out. And for weight loss, that is 100% true. All that really matters is just that you're burning more calories than you're consuming. And that is true, and that is the first layer of this, is if you have a lot of fat, maybe you need to lose the fat. However, there is more than enough evidence to support that a very processed diet increases a lot of inflammation and makes you retain water. So you might not be very fat, but you might be retaining a good amount of water. You might be bloated and your body could be inflamed. And by limiting your processed foods, getting rid of things like preservatives, seed oils for some people, artificial sweeteners, which come in many different forms, and the gums and the emulsifiers that also come with those things. So like for me, erythritol and sucralose and all those things that just have really out there names, they made me bloated. They made me retain a lot of water. When I flexed my abs, I still looked like I was pregnant. And so for a lot of you, that could be the same. I know that One of the most drastic physical changes I ever made was cutting out processed foods. I actually ate more, a lot of people might not believe me, but I looked better eating more calories, but they weren't processed calories than when I was really restricting myself with a highly processed diet. And I'm talking like lots of whey proteins and protein bars. Like I was having all the protein, like health foods, but they were still bloating me and I felt like crap all the time. And in eliminating those, like my breath got better, my teeth got whiter, my tongue got redder, all these extra things. But we're not here to talk about the benefits of eating clean. I'm just here to tell you that you'll be able to get away with a lot more when you have a non-processed diet. When you have a clean, whole foods diet, some eggs, some clean meat, whole food meat, not deli meat, getting your carbs from fruits, getting some vegetables in, carbs also through juices, particularly fruit juices with no added sugars, because added sugars are added calories. 1 gram of a carb is 4 calories, and protein. Fat is also 9 calories per gram. But I'm getting into the nitty gritty there. Basically, you just want to eat less food to get your stomach smaller, and more specifically, you want to make the food you are eating good and very processable for your body. You want your body to be doing the processing, not the factories and stuff. You want food that's easier for your body to handle. And I think it just makes sense that your body has an easier time handling whole food, organic food that is more akin to what it would be like in the wild than something that was chemically concocted to be more convenient or stay on shelves longer, to be cheaper, to be mass produced. And I get it, like eating healthier can be a lot more expensive, but it's also going to cut back on like medical expenses and such by being healthy. I know that the whole food pill is a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, but please trust me, you will see some water retention going away after you switch from a highly processed diet to a non-processed diet. A lot of people now are even talking about this with de-bloating, which has to do with sodium, and a lot of processed food has sodium in it. That's a completely another topic. I don't want to advise you on how much sodium to take, as it is an electrolyte, and based on blood pressure and how much you sweat, how advanced of an athlete you are kind of allowed varying levels of sodium, and sodium is an electrolyte, and I don't want to screw that up for anybody. So I'm not going to be preaching the science of de-bloating here. So lastly, I want to say that you can also tip that calorie expenditure versus calorie consumption scale to more calorie expenditure by walking a lot more. So you can do things like running, but if you're watching this video, you probably don't want to run either. You probably don't want to sprint. You don't want to get a treadmill probably. So you are going to need to burn some calories in another way, just walk. Now, people who like to go for walks in the neighborhood and parks, great. If you don't like to go out in the public and you have a backyard you can walk in with a fence, just do that. Circle your perimeter. Put in the, AirPods, maybe watch an episode of TV, or, I don't know, listen to music, and just go in circles, pace back and forth, get your steps in. If you don't even want to go outside, or you don't have a fence, or you don't have a yard to walk in, then go up and down stairs. Stairs were how I lost the most weight in high school, as I would just run up and down the stairs a bunch of times. And if you don't want to run, you can walk too. If you don't even have a staircase, just splice in burpees and jumping jacks throughout your day as a hermit indoors. I hate burpees so much, and jumping jacks aren't as effective for burning calories as burpees. They're okay, but the bottom line is just movement. So what you want to do is splice in some burpees here and there throughout your day. So if you're in a position where the only things it's safe to do in your environment are just stay inside and play video games and watch TV, then in between episodes, commercial breaks, in between games, while you're waiting for your game to update, just do a couple burpees, maybe like 10 to 20 burpees, 10 to 20 jumping jacks, and then sit back down before you start working up too much of a sweat. A little bit here, a little bit there, over and over and over again is going to add up throughout a week. You're going to be burning more calories than you were before, and these are all ways that don't stimulate your appetite as much as a full workout at the gym or a full track workout or outdoor run. These little tiny bursts will stimulate your appetite a lot less, and so will walking. Walking is a really easy, and walking burns almost as much calories as like a moderately paced jog or something like that. It's just the jog is better for your heart than walking, but you can get the calorie expenditure by walking. Lastly, this is a bonus for people who are willing to go to the gym and don't mind working out around people or do have a home gym set up. Doing some incline bench will also get you a nicely built upper chest and touch on a little bit of the shoulders and some of the triceps. So you get a lot of bang for your buck from incline bench. You can do dumbbell, barbell, machine incline press. But that would be the last thing that would contribute to a movie star physique, get you a nice body, get the pecs popping in your clothes that you're wearing, and just create an overall more flattering frame for you. And if you are a puller upper, if you're doing the pull-ups and you can't do as many because pull-ups are hard, it took me a long time to get to the point where I could rep out some pull-ups, and you do have a gym membership, if you don't want to do the hanging table method that I was talking about earlier, then you can do lat pull downs at the gym if you're willing to go. So if you want to go to the gym, incline bench, lat pull downs, those are your big ones right there for the gym. So real quick, I wanted to go back and add, for some people I realized don't even have tables like I kind of envisioned when I was giving these instructions. Some people have like a circular table with one pillar in the middle. In that case, it would be much harder to do the pull-up variation that I was talking about. So instead you can do pullovers as demonstrated right here. You're probably going to need a little more weight than you were doing for your lateral raises and bicep curls. So you'll want to fill up the bag with like books and or coins or bricks and rocks and do it over a chair as demonstrated here. This guy uses a bench, but you can use a chair or you can use like the edge of a bathtub, but bottom line, you can get creative with it if you need something else to build that upper back. So real quick, let's do a recap. We'll just put it all out there for you guys. How do you get a bare bones, really easy, low investment physique, good shoulder to waist ratio? How do you get a good shoulder to waist ratio? Building the shoulders, upper back, and upper chest. And furthermore, getting a slimmer waist. How do you build your shoulders? Lateral raises and shoulder presses. You can go right into shoulder presses when your shoulder is too fatigued to keep raising the arm during the lateral raises. How do you build an upper back? Do some pull-ups or hang from a table. Make sure you have counterweight on the other side so the table doesn't flip over and crush you, and just do that pulling up. Add some resistance, do higher weight. How do you get a smaller waist? Losing weight. How do you lose weight? Burn more calories than you're eating, and you can also lower inflammation and lose some water weight by getting rid of processed foods and eating whole foods. How do you expend more calories than you consume? Get small bursts of activity, some walking. You can run stairs, jumping jacks, burpees here and there. And even just the exercise I was talking about, bicep curls. You can do the curls and the lateral raises with a bag or jug of some kind filled with a weight of your choice. And for the cherry on top, if you want to go to the gym, do some lat pull downs and some incline benches. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a video I want to get out there because I know there's a lot of people who are looking for the easy way, and this is pretty much as easy as it gets. I understand that the food part might be hard because people have to develop self-control and a little bit of presence and consciousness and intuition and intuitiveness about what they're eating. But yeah, I hope this helped you guys out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. God bless you. Peace out, and I will see y'all next time.